Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 2 of Tour de la Provence. Now, we saw a spectacular stage yesterday on the flat, windy crosswind day. Today is a little bit more quieter, but still a fantastic race and lots to learn today on the Butterfly Effect. 180 kilometers, a lumpy affair today. The main obstacle, of course, in today's race is going to be the finishing climb of about 2.5 kilometers as it winds through the town, has pitches of 5, close to 8%, and then just ramps down a little bit as it comes into the finish for the last 200 meters, but a very difficult finish. Besides that, of course, with 33 kilometers to go, there's a pretty good climb, not epically hard, but good climb at fast speeds, 5% just under, and about 6.5 kilometers long. So that's going to be a marker in today's race for all of the teams, because you know with 33 kilometers to go, lumpy all the way to the finish, and that 6-kilometer climb at just about 5%, you know the speeds are going to be fast there. Now, when you look at teams like Cofidis, you know that they want to have the race explode on this climb, just like you would see in the Tour de France stages when we're talking about Peter Sagan and his Bora Hansgrohe team from the years past. When they want to get rid of the fast guys, Brian Cocard and Cofidis, they want to redeem themselves for the poor showing they had yesterday, and today's the stage to do it. Now, when the racing gets started, it's about 100 kilometers to go when I'm sitting on the Chesterfield, and it's a break of 5. In that group of 5, Oeselin is there, Gouchard is there from B&B Hotels, and he has been active throughout this 2022 season already in just about breakaways. Almost every race I've watched, if there's been a breakaway in the south of France, Gouchard has been there. Along with Gouchard, Tony Aurel is there, Kevin Besson, and forgive me, I am not going to get this rider's last name right, Siskuveskis. Now, you guys can take the pronunciation your own way. There's no way I'm ever going to get that right. You know I got a problem here on the Butterfly Effect pronouncing names. But those 5 riders are up the road. They got a 4-minute lead with about 100 kilometers to go, and that lead will extend because behind Salvatore Puccio from Ineos is the one rider setting tempo. So those 5 guys get a bit of a leash, and they start the climb 33 kilometers to go with about a 2-minute lead. And then that breakaway blows up, and we're going to see 2 riders go over the top. It's Oeselin and Gouchard from B&B Hotels. They'll go over the top with Oeselin taking the KOM, and only about a 1-minute lead because behind it was Cofidis driving it like crazy up the climb, trying to get rid of everybody. Now, they've done a fabulous job of setting a massive pace up this climb. Many times you see the riders coming out the back of the peloton in the big chain ring. So if the rider's getting dropped in the big chain ring, you know the Cofidis riders up front are throwing down some big speed. They got the field completely strung out, and sprinters are coming out the back. It's Ineos rider, yesterday's winner, Elia Viviani, who's getting dropped. Luke Rowe from Ineos is dropping back to try to get him back on, but we're not going to see those 2 guys. Now, up front, when they go over the climb, Cofidis is not going to let off the gas, and they're going to keep on the pressure. With 17 kilometers to go, Alexis Gougeot, the B&B Hotel rider, he's going solo and going to put on a show for us, throwing down hard on the pedals. We'll see him with 10 kilometers to go, about a 50-second lead, diving through the right-hand turn and using every square millimeter of the road to keep the pace fast and keep his time out there for as long as he can. Behind in the group of the peloton, it has been reduced now in half, but Cofidis is starting to fall apart. They're getting a little bit of help back there from AG2R. Quick-Step will take over to try to help bring the gap down to the solo breakaway rider up front. When they enter about 4 kilometers to go is the first time we really see race leader Filippo Ganna start moving to the front. With 2.5 kilometers to go as they enter the city streets and start climbing and winding their way up to the finish, Gouchard is doing a fabulous job, but the time is coming down because behind it's Quick-Step back there that's chasing hard. Filippo Ganna is pulling the gap back to the Quick-Step rider, and he'll start to close it. Next up to throw in an attack with 1.5 kilometers is Pierre-Luc Perrichon, the Cofidis rider. They are putting on a show today. They have been pulling all the way up the final climb, down the descent. Now, as we go in with 1.5 kilometers to go, it's Pierre-Luc Perrichon who's up the road solo. This was absolutely, I think, unexpected from Pierre-Luc Perrichon. As we see him looking back, you got to believe he was planning on keeping it all together to lead out their sprinter, Brian Coquard. Instead, Pierre-Luc Perrichon is going hard up the front solo. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, and I want to point some stuff out here because Filippo Ganna was thinking brilliantly at this moment. Now, remember, he's tight on general classification with Pierre Latour, the French rider, and of course Julian Alaphilippe, who's only 4 seconds behind him on the general classification. But Pierre-Luc Perrichon is not a threat to Ganna. He knows it. He can back off. And what's brilliant when you watch these bike races and you're really paying attention is the quick step riders know Ganna does not have to chase the Cofidis rider, so right away Dries Devenin is on the front, setting a great tempo, controlling the gap up to Pierre-Luc Perrichon so he can help his race leader and fighting for the general classification, two-time world road champion Julian Alaphilippe back there try to win the stage. If Julian Alaphilippe can get a gap on Ganna or win the stage with the time bonuses, he will take race leader's jersey after today's stage 2. This is why it's such a brilliant moment to see this happening with Filippo Ganna there hesitating just a second, knowing he doesn't have to chase. Dries Devenin from Quickstep knowing they do have to chase if they want a chance at getting the race lead after today's stage. Now, Dries Devenin does a fabulous job, brings back Cofidis rider with about 700 meters to go. We'll see him pull all the way up to about 350, 400 meters. And then Dries Devenin swings hard off to the left. Now, another brilliant moment if you're really watching closely. It's Ganna, again, the Ineos rider, solo with no help from his teammates. He's up there at the front, first in line as Dries Devenin pulls off. This is a crucial moment. 350 meters to go. If Ganna does something wrong at this moment, he will lose the race leader's jersey after today's stage. Instead, calm like a bomb, you see him look back. He's going to check right side over his shoulder. Then he's going to check the left side over his shoulder. He knows if he accelerates, there's a good chance he can get gapped at the finish of today's stage because still with 350 meters to go, it's a hard pitch to the finish. A little gap to a rider like Julian Alaphilippe and he loses the jersey. Instead, beautiful Ganna's move here is just absolutely fantastic. He pauses, he comes off the gas, he pulls the clutch in, he looks over both shoulders. Then it's Pierre Latour, the French rider, throwing in the next attack. He throws in a great tack. Now Ganna, remember, he didn't have to follow Pierre-Luc Perrichon, but Pierre Latour is a threat on general classification. If he was to win the stage and get a little gap, again, Ganna will lose the jersey. Immediately, Filippo Ganna covers the attack from Pierre Latour, almost coming together with the French sprinter from Cofidis, Brian Coquard. They almost bump. Coquard takes the lead. Filippo Ganna starts to accelerate hard. Julian Alaphilippe slots in front of Ganna. And now there can be no gaps to the line as it's the Cofidis rider, Brian Coquard, going 100% from about 250 meters all the way to the line. Single file with double world champion on his wheel, Julian Alaphilippe. And let's just highlight this a little bit more special because remember, behind the double road world champion Julian Alaphilippe is Filippo Ganna, multi-time trial world champion. So Brian Coquard cannot let off the pedals or there's no chance for Cofidis winning today's race. After they did a spectacular job all the way up to this moment, Brian Coquard digs hard, accelerates again, and holds off Julian Alaphilippe and Filippo Ganna, both world champions. Now, when they cross the line, remember Julian Alaphilippe got second, so he gets time bonuses. But because Filippo Ganna was so brilliant with his tactics at the most crucial time of this race. He follows right on the wheel of Julian Alaphilippe, protecting his race lead jersey today, and holds on to the general classification for another day here in Provence by just 2 seconds with some absolutely brilliant racing. Now, we see the finish today, and you look at it with Ineos, and you see Filippo Ganna, and this is what one fantastic rider can do for your team at a race like this. He made it look so good that you forget that he was the only Ineos rider in the front group. I mean, that is absolutely amazing when you think about yesterday's race, where they dominated the race. Here on the Butterfly Effect, you heard me give praise left and right to Ineos. And then today, when they go over the KOM with 27 kilometers to go, it's Movistar that's at the front, which was nowhere to be seen yesterday. Cofidis is at the front, nowhere to be seen yesterday. And of course, FDJ with Arnaud Dumas, their sprinter, making it over the KOM. And still, the only rider from Ineos is, of course, their time trial world champion, Filippo Ganna. But just having Ganna there is enough to make you forget when you're sitting on the Chesterfield of how bad of a day Ineos had, because Ganna still finishes with the race leader's jersey, holds on to it by 2 seconds. We see him all the way up the final 2.5 kilometers of the stage, doing spectacular tactics. But what a change when you look at yesterday's race with Ineos and then you look at their race today. Now, Richard Carapaz, for sure he would have been there. You got to believe he would have been there over the KOM today, but he wasn't able to start today's race because of a positive COVID test. But I want to point some other things out, and this isn't quite acceptable, and this is what the Butterfly Effect show is all about, right? I'm not a recap show. I'm about pointing out stuff that might have been missed. When you look at the beginning of the climb with 33 kilometers to go, as they're coming into that climb, Ineos is at the back. And then once the climb starts, it's super narrow, super technical and twisty. And of course, Filippo Ganna, being the legendary rider he is, he's capable of getting himself to the front by the summit. They go over that climb, and we start to see Ethan Hayter coming off the back. Now, this is one thing that I got to say here on the Butterfly Effect. When we're watching TV camera angles, we don't always know what went on, right? We don't know yesterday, maybe Ethan Hayter hit his knee or something like that in one of the crashes, or got held up and something happened. Maybe he had bad form. Maybe Richard Carapaz, since he has COVID-19, maybe other riders do and they're sick and we don't know. But one thing's for certain, I praised Ineos yesterday about how gelled their team was, always at the front. Today, it's unacceptable with 33 kilometers to go in the race when the only rider they've ridden on the front is Salvatore Puccio all day. The other riders should have been at the front when that climb started. You cannot tell me, as I'm sitting here on the Butterfly Effect, that a rider like Elia Viviani, Luke Rowe, Ethan Hayter are not capable of starting a climb at the front. If you can't finish at the top of the climb at the front, okay, that's a different story. I'm never going to diss somebody because they have bad legs. But you can start at the front. And when you look at how well focused they were in yesterday's stage 1 crosswind day, and then you take today's stage 2, and they're all over the map, spread throughout the peloton when this crazy, narrow, twisty, technical, super fast climb starts, it's unacceptable to see L.A. Viviani, Luke Rowe going out the back, and of course Ethan Hayter getting dropped on the technical descent. Unacceptable. Filippo Ganna, you did an amazing ride today to look after your jersey and make the Ineos team look absolutely fantastic and make most of the spectators and fans watching from home forget about how bad the team looked as a whole on today's stage. That's my take on the Butterfly Effect. We got an exciting stage. Summit finish tomorrow. We'll see if the double road world champion can get himself the overall victory at this year's Provence, or if it's going to be one of the other wily riders back there like Pierre Latour or Nairo Quintana putting out a fabulous climb on tomorrow's race. Look forward to the butterfly effect. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys real soon.